Hey guys, this is Jaden from Couch in the Mind, clearing the mind one couch talk at a time. And on today's episode, episode 15, I've got Boston Freestone with me. How are you, brother?
Good, bro. Good. Thanks for having me.
No, mate, pleasure to have you on the show. So I actually came across Boston through Instagram because what he's trying to achieve right now, I think. So you're working in exercise science at the moment. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm doing my master's in sport and exercise physiology. It's a year long. I graduated from biomedicine at Queensland University of Technology. So yeah, QUT,
Yeah.
last year. And I was actually one of the very few that actually have a closing ceremony, a graduating ceremony. So I was very
Consider yourself lucky.
yeah. Honestly, it was a heap of fun. But yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Awesome. Yeah, and so the topic we'll be going over today is inner fitness. And what I'm trying to say is with inner fitness, I think whether you're someone who's really heavily into fitness or someone who's quite overweight and prefers to sit on the couch, everyone has their own form of inner fitness within themselves. It's just whether or not you want to unlock it. And for Boston himself, I know for a fact that he went through a stage where he was quite overweight. And I mean, from my perspective, he may have potentially been lacking somewhat of a motivation to kind of urge himself to get into fitness and to get into the best form of himself. Obviously, I'll let Boston kind of share his own stories with regards to that. But yeah, that's kind of essentially why I've named the topic inner fitness. So if you may hear or say anything today that might cause a trigger point within yourselves, feel free to stop, pause the video. But as always, continue to watch it if you're interested in it. Anyways, guys, I'll hand it over to Boston and he can share his story from the start, and I'll ask questions along the way.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, so my story kind of really started from when I was around grade 3. So what's that? 7, 8. From the get-go, my parents always put me in the sport. Me and my sister included. We were always playing different types of sport. Mum would be getting me up for swimming every morning, and I hated staring at that black line, man. Like, it really just did my head in. Anyway, like I still had to do it. I still did it. I was huge into rugby, and then I started playing more basketball, and then I did other stuff like athletics, so like shot put and cricket here and there. A bit of volleyball as well. So I was really, as you can tell, I was really just sport. Mum and dad really wanted me to get on with the sport, and my dad kind of was, like I was saying before to you, was a chef. So the meals I was eating weren't bland. That's the best way to put it. And the portion sizes were generous. So from the get-go, I was eating man meals. And that's why I was always bigger than the average person. I was taller than the average person. Not just taller, but like bigger as well. So
Yeah.
and this wasn't just amongst me. This was amongst my whole family. Like, we were all kind of big build, and we all just ate a lot, and we all loved to eat. So when I hit around 12, sports started transitioning from more like obviously physical size to more athletic ability. Started transitioning to more athletic ability, and I slowly moved away from rugby, went into basketball, and then I was just like, I can't really jump high. I've got a lot of weight on me, and then this is when I started socializing more with other people, and then school obviously got a little bit harder for me as well. So my real pivot point happened when I was around 14, 15. Well, obviously I'm open to it. I'm dyslexic and ADHD as well. So I've always had a learning difficulty, not a disability, but it's always been difficult for me to learn and stay attentiveness in a way. So I had school grades were going down, couldn't get past like C+ in English. It did my head in, and I was wondering why. Everything. So yeah, school was going down, sport was kind of lacking, and I was always trying to get in the best teams for sport. Sport was kind of lacking. Social life, there were times where people wouldn't want to speak to me because of the way I looked, and I didn't really like that. So all these things were kind of going south, and I was trying to say to myself, why is this happening? And like, am I going to let this be the better of me? And then I kind of said, nah, you know what, fuck that. Like, if this is the way it's going to be, then we need to make a change. So I started off, and shouts out to my neighbor who I lived with. He helped me out. The family did, I should say. They let me borrow their home gym, and I would just every night come home from school, hour. I don't care what I did. I would run, lift a little bit of weights, do all that type of stuff, and then that's what really started the motivation side of things.
Yeah.
Was to really the catalyst was the movement, and
Yeah,
then after.
I hope you don't mind me butting in. I just want to quickly ask a quick question in regards to, I guess, kickstarting the urge to want to get into fitness again. What actually sparked that urgency? Because I know a lot of people that are probably going through similar things to what you've been through in the past, but to actually get to the stage where you're like, you know what, I need to start making a difference, and I want to be the healthy version of myself. How do you actually get to that point and actually start to make a difference?
For me, it was everything that I valued kind of was slipping away from me, and I kind of went along with the flow rather than controlling it. Well, trying to control what you can control. Obviously, you can't control everything, but I was like, okay, what can control? One, I can control my grades. Two, I can control how I feel, how I look, and who I want to be. So I kind of stopped prioritizing on running away from those things and more tackling them head on, and being and trying to figure out solutions on how I can make that change. And yeah, definite catalyst was being one, sport, social interaction, second, and my grades. Like I found I was distracted at school. I couldn't really focus. I was feeding myself good food, but it was just too much, and I was just overeating, and then that was affecting my whole central nervous system in ways I didn't know. So yeah, definitely the three things of everything that I could control. I wanted to see if we could, and I ended up giving it back, and it worked out, yeah, really well. Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of the mental side of things, how did you actually kind of flip the coin and go? Because obviously, for someone who may have been quite obese in the past, you know, such as yourself, and I appreciate and I thank you for being so honest, man. For someone who may be in that state of mind, how do you actually kind of get out of the tunnel and go, you know what, like life isn't that bad. You know, I deserve better.
Yeah, when I was first losing weight, my mum said to me, I went into my room, I was crying. So why? I just don't like myself. Like, this is weird. I'm just not feeling myself. My mum said to me, just lose 8 kilos. Just lose 8 kilos. So it started off as a step from A to B. And that's something that a lot of people, like just as a mental side of things, but also working on their own fitness, what a lot of people will do is, well, what I tend to see is people go, okay, we'll get to the end. Like, what's Z? Like, what's the goal? It's everyday progression,
100%, man. 100%. It's
that was it. That was the biggest. That's what helped me keep going. Like I said, like that mum just putting into my head, lose 8 kilos, ended up making me lose 22. So it kind of, the hardest thing is to start, and that's pretty much the premise of how, like, I flipped the switch in a way, was setting small attainable goals, not that were realistic. And when I met them, I was like, okay, cool. I feel good. I'm on my track. What's the next goal? And then it was just goal after goal after goal, and then habit after habit, and then behavior and behavior, and then now, yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly right, mate. If you look long term, say for example, you're at the gym and you're fairly new to the gym, and you go, okay, look, I can only lift 30 to 40 kilos on the bench, and you're going, okay, so I want to be able to lift 60 or 70. You can't make a massive jump from 40 to 70. You've got to do all the small incremental, bits of work to actually get to that stage. You can't, like, and it's pretty much exactly what you're saying with yourself in regards to losing weight. You can't just, don't look at the big picture and go, oh shit, like my first goal is to ultimately lose 8 kilos. But my smaller goals is that, like, every week I might prevent myself from eating the
Yeah.
ABC, little bits and pieces, and then ultimately you will get to that end goal.
Yeah, definitely. And I was watching when I started really getting fascinated into not losing weight, but sorry, improving my health. I shouldn't
Mm.
just say losing weight, improving my health. I was watching a movie, Generation Iron, like one of the
Yep.
original ones.
Yep.
Yeah, like I heard Arnold Schwarzenegger say uh, something along the lines of not lifting, but bodybuilding gave him the blueprint on how to be successful. And then when I heard that, I was like, oh, wow. So I would say that me going down this track has definitely taught me what I think Arnold was kind of getting at was the discipline and the continuous discipline to endeavor and stick at one thing and then
Yep.
really trust in the process and get to it. So I would definitely say that all my success and where I am today has led to me improving my health, like 100%, 100%.
No, that's awesome, man. And in terms of where you are now, how did you actually kickstart, let's say, for example, so in terms of social media, with your Instagram page? Also, I mean, obviously now you've got. I mean, for those who don't know, Boston, aka Boston Fitness, he's got his own Instagram account. Um, it focuses on sport and physical education as such. How did you build your base up so that way you've now got like a heavy amount of followers, and what actually led you into making a particular page to help others that might be going through certain things you've been through in the past?
Yeah, so we'll start off with like why I started it.
Yeah.
So I started it because when I was losing weight, I was so just like, oh my gosh, there is so much information out there on the best weight loss technique, the best fad diet. This is how you got to train. And I tried lots of them. One day I spent nearly $250 on Blade tablets, supplements to help me lose weight. And I was like, this can't be it. Like, this can't be the way to do it. Like, there must be a more natural approach that's sustainable, but also effective.
Mm.
So, anyway, probably from like grade 9, yeah, I was going down a supplement road. I was trying all the fad diets. When I hit around 18, 17, this is when I kind of just stopped. And I was like, okay, I need to start figuring out what works well for me and then focus on that. So I stopped looking at all what people were telling me to do. I started focusing on what I wanted, what I had an idea of what I could do. And then I went out of school. I had a major injury. I did well, not major, but yeah, pretty bad. I had a knee reconstruction. I did my anterior cruciate ligament when I was playing basketball. And that's when I really had to learn to kind of maintain my weight, but also can't exercise or train. So that's when I did a lot of my own research. So from like around 18 to 19, I started university. I did nutrition. I started off doing nutrition and finished off with biomedicine. But with nutrition, I was just doing nutrition and I didn't really feel a sense of fulfillment every day. I kind of was going to the gym. I was just saying to myself when I was at the gym, I said, oh, I should really start promoting it. And then I didn't want initially, I didn't want to start Instagram because of what people thought. That's with everything, a lot of people, with what they do. And then one night I was shout out to Cafe 63 on Racecourse Road because I love that place back in the day. I was there with my sister and a friend Holly, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like, I want to start an Instagram page, but I'm afraid what people think about. And they just said, just fucking start it. And I went, right, done. Like, okay, I'm going to start it. So I started in 2016. I progressed with it all throughout my university for my undergrad and now my postgrad. And why I started it was because I wanted to be someone that I wish I had when I was losing weight. I want to give people educated and scientifically backed up information that is going to improve on their health, not just fitness, not just how to cook, not how to eat, just general overall well-being. So, and the premise of Boston Fitness isn't really a set product or a set service. Yes, I can offer those. I'm more taking people on the ride with me in discovering how much I can optimize other people's health through a platform, through a service. So I'll never stop Boston Fitness, and it will always continue. I'm just taking it with me. It's kind of like a luggage. Like I'm taking everyone for the ride. So yeah, that's why I started it, and that's why I continue doing it now. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome, man. And from me to you, I just want to say that, I mean, obviously, for those who know, this is actually the first time we're having a conversation
Yeah.
over video
Yeah.
chat. But you know, from me to you, man, I'm proud of yourself, man, because it's not an easy thing to be able to go through such negativity in the past within yourself, and then turn that into a healthier version of yourself, and now helping others. And mate, like you've got to take acknowledgement, man. It's an awesome thing.
Yeah, no, it is cool. It's really cool. And there are times I kind of just like I kind of go like like when people just send me a message or people just shout out to me saying, and I'll be having a bad day or just shit, stuff won't be going my way, and then I'll see that
Yeah,
I'll be like, wow, like, this is why I do what I do. This is why I put myself through something. This is why I sit down 8 hours during the day just to study textbooks, study theory, study
yeah,
systems. It all really does come down to sorry. It just comes down to helping other people is what gets me up in the morning. And I just, yeah, like I said, wish I had someone like myself when I was younger because I was
yeah.
confused. I was so confused. It was all over the shop. But also talking more mentally side of things, for me, I was always an upbeat person, but when it came
Mm.
to the academic field, I just wasn't switched on. I just couldn't switch myself on. And I was on D's and like I was failing D's and C's. I had my own school tell me that I should not go to university and just go into a trade and just forget about everything academically. And then
That's that's
I,
me. That's me included.
I know it's good. It's good. You work at your strengths, but like I wanted to try university, and then being told that you can't go to university because of your academic capabilities from like 15 is kind of like, nah, what do you want about? Like, you can't say that. So I kind of was just like, no, you know what? Like, I'm gonna really try, and then like doing the exercises and eating a certain way to help me improve my health also taught me the discipline to just sit down and read and learn. Like I've lots of people don't know math or they don't know how to read or no, so they don't know how to do English because they actually just haven't sat down and done it. And that's what the discipline of me improving my health gave me in everything I do with my life. So yeah, yeah.
Oh, awesome, man. And going back on a question that we just touched base on a couple minutes ago, if you don't like if you're trying to kickstart into becoming the better version of yourself, and you're looking online to try and find something that will help you, whether it be a paid program or a free trial, whatever it may be, where do you think you should start?
I necessarily should. There's not one destination. There's plenty of really, really accredited people out there that are promoting messages like myself. Like there are some really, really good people out there that do it. Shouts out to them. To the other people that are ruining it for myself, like, come on, stop eating McDonald's and taking steroids and promoting yourself on Instagram. Like, come on, let's share something educational. What I think two things people should do to start off with is one, again, going back to this, it's like a step ladder, A and B. From you want to go from A to B, realize that it's a process. It's not overnight. It's a process.
Yep.
It's a goddamn process, and you will fail. You will. I still fail. I still do it. Everyone will do it. So knowing that it's a process, one, gets your head switched on to think, okay, well, this isn't going to happen in 2 weeks. This isn't going to happen in 4 weeks. This is actually going to happen 6 to 12 months into my future. Second of all, what I think people should focus on is when you do get information, go out of the way. See where are you getting that information from? Who is that person that's telling you that? If you're getting some information from not disclosing men's health or anything, but if you get some information from men's health, there is a little bit of confirmational bias and bias towards you buying that product and that information. So be more aware that not one thing what someone is telling you is the complete end all. When
Mm.
I started my fitness life, I had a lot of people tell me that this is the way to train, this is the way to eat, and that's it. No, you need to be aware and open to a lot of other ways on how to do it. So yeah, my two biggest tips would be for people who are starting out, trying to find information and do themselves. One, understand it's a process, and two, be optimistic about the information you receive, but also be critical. Also be concise and critical. Question it. Not just, for example, people watching the Game Changers movie, like that changed a lot of people's diet patterns and everything like that. But you got to look at it from the perspective of where did they get that information from? How is that applicable to your life? So yeah, be critical, ask questions, and be aware. Just be aware.
That's exactly right. And that, like we're all built differently, and to think that we all would go off one particular program or one specific diet is just, it's unheard of. You can't do it because we're not wired the same. In terms of mental health, brother, because obviously, with my podcast, we prioritize a lot and focus on mental health. How do you think sport and fitness can actually change someone's mental state and put them into a positive state?
It's astonishing. Like it's absolutely astonishing what exercise, just daily activity, respect to daily just eating and activity wise, it's just profound what effect it can have on the body and its mental state. And there have been times where I've stopped eating well and I've stopped training a little bit, and you're just not yourself. You're not yourself. When you train, a little bit of physiology background, the body is meant to run at a certain way. If it doesn't run that way, everything starts going a little bit undertuned. It starts getting a little bit off center. We are built to be efficient and run. The moment we don't fuel ourselves or practice activity, we start getting off our center and we start drifting towards a way. So it's hard to kind of say what effect exercise has on mental health because you can't really express it until you've done it. But needless to say, there is a reason why people go through transformations. There is a reason why people have a terrible life when they're fat or overweight or just in a bad mental state, and now they're really successful or they're really happy with what they do. There is a reason why people don't go back. So I think if anything, people should be looking at it from a perspective of why not give it a try, not like going, oh, it's too hard.
Exactly. And I know exactly what you're saying, in that if you haven't specifically tried a form of fitness, you probably don't exactly know that particular feeling. But for me, when I went away for 3.5 weeks to the UK when I finished school, I wasn't exercising that heavily, and I got used to that. And when I came home, I just didn't really care about going to the gym. But if I'm going to the gym and I miss out on going for a couple of days and I lose that consistency, that's when it plays your mind, and then you go in this really bad headspace and that you haven't felt for so long, because I find consistency is the key to unlocking positivity and putting your mind in the greatest of spaces possible.
No, I couldn't agree more. And when it comes specifically, I know you're using gym as a reference, but for me, it's not just, for everyone, not for everyone, but people should look at it as, if I'm not going to the gym, I'm not making progress mentally or physically. No, it's not about that. It's about movement. Just that is the underlying cause. Movement. The body needs to move. The more you move, the more you liberate from your own self. So if that means for you doing 4 sets of 20 push-ups, squats, and sit-ups when you get up in the morning, that's you. If that means going for a run or going for a nice walk along the river, that's you. So when people get under this, again, going back to the ABC, they're trying to get to Z, they're looking at the bottom of the hill going, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You need to kind of just realize that, no, just start with something that you enjoy and it will go from there.
That's it, man. You look at profession. Oh, sorry, go on.
I don't enjoy sometimes going to the gym by myself. Like, it's boring. Like, fuck.
Okay.
It's just like staring at the black line when I'm swimming. But like, again, it's all different. Like, I've got a goal, so I'm trying to achieve that goal. That's through that. I'm not saying that my way of life is perfect, but it also shouldn't be a reference for someone to live exactly like me.
Mm.
I believe people should pick up characteristics of the way I address certain things. And yes, moving is 100% a massive factor in improving mental health. Albert Einstein, one of my favorite little quotes from him is, "Life is like a bicycle. To keep your balance, you need to move forward." If you can generally say to yourself that you are not moving forward in whatever you do, your balance most likely will be off. It won't be completely off, but it will be most likely off. So to, yeah, encapsulate that, people that are in this rut, and again, guys, girls, we're all in it. We've all been in it before. You need to focus on yourself and you need to keep moving. It's like, what is it on Finding Nemo? Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I've honestly said that to myself so many times, and
It's so true. It's so true, man.
it is. It is true. It is true. So yeah, definitely, just keep moving. Life is a balancing act. You got to keep it balanced. And if you go off balance, that's okay. We all do. We just gotta get back onto it. So yeah.
And that's the thing. People will have to understand that whether someone's going through a tough time or may have never experienced anything extremely tragic, life is like a roller coaster. You know, we'll have our ups and downs. You can't expect or have the expectation of life being just this straight road, this straight never-ending road, and nothing bad will happen. You know, you won't go over any bumps or curves. You know what I mean? Like you've got to expect for negative things to come about in your life, but it's whether or not you're prepared and ready for them to occur. And I've learned through some of the things I've been through that some of the toughest times that you go through actually shape the person who you are today and actually help you get through tougher times in the near future.
100%, 100%. And again, Conor McGregor, I just heard him one day when he was rambling on about him just being him. It's so funny. He just said, when you are in these, like you said, these moments of real challenge mentally and physically, these are what define you. These are what make you you. So they're the moments that count. It's all good and all when everything's pretty, but when it gets gritty and dirty and ugly, that's where you really have to stick to your own, get it done, focus on yourself, and then move on. Well, not move on, but keep moving, that's for sure.
I don't know if there'd be anything else that you might potentially want to say or want to mention in this podcast that you think that people could benefit out of.
If you generally know it's feeling good and you're feeling like you're gaining something from whatever you're doing, then keep doing it. If you feel like that whenever you get a negative emotion or something like that, when you think about something or you're doing something, don't avoid it, but try. If you can't change it, leave it alone. If you can't change it, leave it alone. You can't change a person, so you might have to leave it. You can't, but you can change the way you wake up in the morning. You can change the way you feel yourself. You can change the way you run yourself. So, especially now during COVID and all that, I think people should really just focus on what they can control, and everything else will fall into place. Also, if you're not passionate in what you're doing, then just don't stop, but search for what you're passionate for and go from there. I've got a million things I could say, but just I think I've said the premise of a lot of what I do every day. So like there are times where I'll be waking up in the morning, I'm like, I don't want to do shit, but I just know I'll just go outside, just do something, just start. Yeah, definitely. And if people are listening to this and they are wondering where to start now, just go.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things for just starting and doing something is when you're jumping into that deep end, you feel extremely vulnerable and you feel like you might be judged because you're interested or you're doing something in particular where you know that people will look at you or frown upon you in a certain way or start questioning you. I think what you've got to realize and understand is what you want to get out of it. Like if you're finding happiness out of it, like if you're not affecting anyone by it, but you're finding any happiness about it and you can see you're getting some form of achievement or reward out of doing it, then why stop doing it? Why continue? Why not continue to grow and become better at it?
That's the premise of how I started my online platforms. I had people come up to me and say, "Are you still doing Boston Fitness?" A month into it, and I was like, "Wow! Like if I actually listened to you guys, I would have not have continued. I would have, and then if I wouldn't have continued, I wouldn't have been able to share what I know and help other people. And then that's I when I think back to it, I'm like, wow, some people can be twisted,
Mm.
and it's just really focusing on yourself. And if it makes you feel good, do it, do it.
But yeah,
Yeah,
thanks, brother. Thank you so much for talking and sharing your story today, man. Because obviously it's a quite touchy one, in that you've gone through your tough time in the past. You went through obesity. You hit a point. You flicked the switch, and now you're better for it, and you're helping others along the way. So, from me to you, mate, I'm proud of you, brother, and just keep doing what you're doing, because you're definitely making a difference in someone's life.
thank you, man. Thank you. And like I wouldn't even care if I had 100 followers. I would still be doing the same thing as I would be doing, even if I didn't have Instagram. It doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's all about promoting the message and
That's it.
sharing. Not like, yeah, I've got a couple sponsors and stuff. But it's not about that. It's never been about that.
That's
Um,
it.
but yeah, no, thanks, man. I was absolutely really enjoyed being on the show, and I am very open about my story because, like you said, it defines who I am today. So
That's
there's
it,
another
man.
thing with people. You should be proud of where you come from. Be proud of what you've done, and you will endeavor to do more. That's for sure.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, for those who listened, this has been episode 15 of Couch in the Mind, clearing the mind one couch talk at a time. And today I had Boston Fitness on the show with me. And I'll leave his social media account in the link below if you want to check out what he's trying to achieve and how he's helping people out within today's society. But as always, guys, hit me up if you need anything, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Catch you later.